once again on Mini Life with the most popular episode so far. Cole, you are blowing it out of the water. I don't know if they like you, they like the title, or if we were just if we were just rocking and rolling on that episode. But it's like, I don't know, it's like almost 500 listens, which in podcast worlds I think is pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. I don't look too close. Like, I don't need to know why. If it works, it works.
I know. I know. It's all of social media is like that, right? It's like, why all of a sudden is this thing like, it's not like
Right.
I like go and like look who's liking my stuff, but it's like, why am I getting so many alerts? And I'm like, what the heck is going? Like, what did I do different? I don't know.
Right. And the like you don't even do anything different. Like I posted something, I don't know, a month or two ago, and it wasn't especially interesting, but it just like blew up, like tons and tons of likes. And I'm like, man, I need to bottle whatever just happened there.
I know. And then you go and like look and like, what did I say? Something? Is it a hashtag? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I was talking to Sean, I guess yesterday or the day before, about like, my goal for the podcast and how many
Mhm.
listens and downloads and how different it is from Instagram and TikTok world. But I don't know,
Yeah.
the algorithm and the analytics, I guess, for podcasting is just like so trash still that it's like it's so hard to track. Like, who knows? It's just having fun with it, right?
That's it.
Right.
Roll with it.
Yep.
Well, if you guys have not already listened, episode 3, I think it was. Let me just scroll back to my notes here. I believe it was episode 3. One of the
True
very
professional.
first. Yeah, true professional. There's Bingo, Bango. Might have been even 2. I don't know. But anyways, one of the very first, within the first 5 episodes, Cole from Classic Mini DIY was on. We were chit-chatting. The Amazon guy made an appearance. And
I forgot about that. Yeah, no Amazon guy in my office. If there is, there's a problem.
if there's a problem if that happens. But so much has been going on behind the scenes and with your Bad Wolf mini build.
Mhm.
And I kind of want to just have you on and kind of recap it, because I mean, I was looking back and a lot has happened.
Yeah.
So I don't, I didn't even write in very specific questions because I was just like scatterbrained going through it. And I was watching your newest YouTube episode that just dropped
Yeah.
yesterday or day before. So
Yeah, last evening, like I don't know, I always post it like right after I edit it, so it's just usually like 9:30, 10, whatever. It just boom, up it goes.
boom,
But
just send it.
yeah, and then I go to sleep and wake up to comments if there are any.
Like, how could you paint it that color?
Surprisingly, very, very positive feedback on the color. And I haven't received, knock on wood, any rude comments this time. It's pretty wild. There's like always one or two where they just come out and they're like, I can't believe you did such and such to such and such. And I'm just like, man, I'm just working on cars. I just work here. Like,
Yeah, right.
Welcome to social
Yeah.
media.
so,
I can't
but
imagine that there would be a lot of negative comments on that color because it is gorgeous. So it turned out to be actually willow green, correct?
Yep. So willow green body interior. I did Raptor liner inside, tinted willow green as well, and on the underside. And
Ooh.
then the roof is Old English white, and then I have stripes on the hood that are Old English white as well. But I haven't shared pictures of that just yet.
Dun, dun, dun. You got those painted, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So they're
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain it, but I'm not gonna show it yet. They're like two single primary, Old English white stripes with a light pinstripe on the side of each one. Kind of keep it,
Nice.
hopefully keep
Classy
it a little classy.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. No, amazing choice. And I remember when you were first kind of kicking around that idea, I saw you jump into a Facebook group like, hey, what's this color? I was like, do it.
Yeah, secretly lurking around like anyone got a reference to that color? Now I have like every reference known to man. I'm holding up swatches, but I have like my primary and secondary colors here, and I've got like 40 different codes on the back. Like, oh gosh, it was a process.
Which shade?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it with my wife, and she was like, "You should paint yours that." I was like, "That's a good choice. I do like that color.
I agree.
I do like it."
I agree. There's so few willow green minis out there. There has to be more.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
surprising.
Yeah,
It
right.
is. I got into a conversation with her, and she was like, "Well, what about this?" She was like, "You like red?" I was like, "There's way too many reds."
Mm-hmm.
And then she conveniently liked Fiesta Yellow, which is one of my favorite
Ooh,
colors, and I've only seen it once. I never see that
yes.
color, and it's such a cool color. Same with like Willow Green. You just don't see some of these colors very often. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think a lot of I think there are it's less frequent that people are actually doing like full body resprays, and maybe people in the 60s just didn't get these colors, but like so
Yeah.
you buy it and it's got red, it's got blue, it's got these kind of British racing green, what's your experience, and like these are all kind of pretty standard colors. People probably bought those the most. It's like new cars, nobody gets the kind of like tangent colors.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything's white these days anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah, white.
White or
Yep,
silver.
silver, or just like
That's my
cement.
Yeah, yeah. I can't stand like I don't know why I just hate
Yeah.
silver. Like and
Oh,
my dad has a 1990 Carrera 4 964
cool.
Porsche, and it's really cool, but it's silver, and it's like, God damn it!
such an old man color.
It's just like, I mean, it's really cool. It's a convertible too, so it's like this dark navy, and it looks really good. But it's like, damn, if I ever inherit that car, it's getting a different color for sure.
Dad's over there, like just writing you out of the will. Like, no, he's gonna change the color.
Surprisingly, Dad, I think you listen every week with Mom, so thank you for those 2 listens. Or it's probably one. You guys need to listen separately, so I get 2 listens. But anyways, he's always saying like, "Man, this would be a good SoCal car. Just keep the top." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
yeah, it would. I'm
mm-hmm.
like, just send it on over
Yeah,
here."
send it. Happy to
Oh
receive.
man. So my first kind of big question here for you, Cole, is how's this process been? Have you ever done kind of such a restoration process on a car before, like stripping it all the way back down to a bare shell and doing metal work and paint and body and all of that?
So, sort of. This car, this is actually the second time it's had a nut and bolt restore. The first time was when I bought it like over 12, 13 years ago. But at that time, I didn't know crap about minis. I can't remember if this is an NSFW podcast, but I didn't know anything about minis. Um, and so bought the car, pulled it home literally with a strap attached to the front bumper and the terrible stuff. But um, then Justin over here in Charlotte, my buddy, the one with the red pickup and the Moke and all those other minis that you might have seen on previous videos, he he basically took me under his wing, helped me learn all of this stuff. We rebuilt it in his garage. He did a lot of the work at the time, probably like 85% of it. And he let me learn while he was doing that. This time, it's all me. The only thing I didn't do myself is paint and body. I wanted a professional to do that who would do it right. I just knew I'm not a paint and body guy. Like, I need
Mm-hmm.
that instant gratification. I need to see it finished, and like that's not how you do paint and body. But the rest, yeah, doing it all. Just stuff I don't know. Just reading and reading and reading. So much reading.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Seriously, I didn't realize you did the first kind of
Mm-hmm.
nut and bolt restoration. I thought, but I guess I just saw a picture of on Instagram of when you first got it, and it wasn't that
No,
blue or
yep,
whatever.
yeah, the old
Um,
Mr. Bean yellow. And it's funny because that Mr. Bean yellow that the car was, I bought the car up in Canada, drove it back down here with my dad. That picture that I posted was of me and my dad the day we got back. But
right.
the car was originally Clipper blue, which is kind of like a light blue for those of you don't, those folks who are listening that don't know. But um, somebody in the past painted it yellow in Canada, and then I wanted it midnight blue, and the painter at the time, who charged me $800 for the whole paint job, just for context, yeah,
Ooh.
which I was in college. It was an $800 paint job, just to be clear. True and true, but he mixed the color wrong, and got that kind of lighter blue color, and I was like, well, it's all right. I'll keep it.
Get what you pay for,
I
I
mean,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
As long as it
What's
pops.
that?
Yeah, right.
As long as it pops.
definitely pops.
Yeah.
Although here in Charlotte, it's like notoriously close to the Panthers blue, which is our like NFL football team. And everyone's like, "Oh, cool! You must be a big fan of the Panthers." And I'm like, "I don't do sports, man. I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, did you see that like I don't know what's a different sport? Home run. I don't watch sports either. I was trying to think of a quick analogy, but I guess that didn't work.
I'm not a sports guy. I mean, when it comes to, I like mountain biking, and I've been watching a lot of those races recently, but not team sports. Not that I don't like people.
I want to actually talk to you about mountain biking later on, because that looks really fun what you're doing. And I recently, again, here it goes the rabbit hole. I went to a really cool little lake up in the mountains a few weekends back, and there was like this sweet mountain biking course. And I thought, like, when I saw mountain biking, I just figured, like, the ski slopes going down the mountains. It was like berms and ramps. I was like, oh no, here we go. This is my new hobby.
Get into it. Do it. I can't stress it enough. It's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks real cool. But speaking of $800 paint jobs, I think it was last year. I was like, man, like I like the look of my car, but I wonder, maybe if it's like under 1,000, I'll just get a quickie and just spray some British Racing green on the car and kind of go from there. And I went to Mako. Mako, you guys have Mako over there, and they're like supposed to be super cheap, and they quoted me like $5,000 or something, and I had to do all the prep and paint for it and strip it. And I was like, what? And they wouldn't give me a warranty. I was like, what? Wait, what? Why? Like, they're like, oh, your car's too old and blah blah blah. I was like,
that's crazy. Like, totally defeats the purpose of going to Mako. Like, the whole thing is like, I want a cheap paint job, and I mean, like, if you're spending $5,000, an extra 1,000, maybe 2, will get you like a real paint job. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, not to say that that's not there, that's cheap, but like, I don't know. I think the days of like $1,500 or like $2,000 paint jobs are just like, they're gone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I get paint, and it takes a long time, but it literally included nothing. The guy was just going to paint the car, maybe like scuff it up before, just to make sure it was scuffed properly. But I was like, what?
At that point,
all
just
right.
do it
Anyways,
yourself.
Yeah, I'm just going to send it to Sean because he's doing that right now, right?
Oh, don't even get me started. Yeah, sanding and more sanding and a little bit more sanding.
No, thank you. I took like a one paint and body shop course in college, and I was like, "Yep, this is not for me." So hats off to you. Godspeed. I pity your forearms.
Yeah, it's just, like you said, it was like instant gratification. It just takes way too long to sand that shit down.
Yeah, it's so tedious. And
then you also can't touch it or do anything that would get it oily or like, because then you basically have to sand it back down and start over if you ever got contaminated. Oh God, no. I'm like a water contamination machine.
I mean, I don't know, Mike, should I release just a tiny little secret for all our listeners actually while we're on the topic of paint?
I think
I don't know if I should.
Let's hear it.
Might as well.
Yeah. All right. So part of the paint scheme I've got going on for it, I'm thinking about doing some traditional sign writing on it. I say on it, it's going to be most of it, I think. But I'm not. don't really want to give away too much. I feel like I've said too much already.
I think it's going to be cool. I was just talking about it this morning with my wife because American, apparently, I don't know. I'm still trying to dig into it, but like this like racing minis in like the UK are pretty clean with like, you can just picture that navy blue one with the pinstripes on the side, right? Kind of look like
classy.
the USA ones had a lot of handwritten like sponsors on it and stuff like that. And
They look so cool like that though.
Almost hot rodish, Yeah.
It
I
probably
think
was
that looks
because they
cool.
were literally handwriting it on the sides of the cars.
Yeah.
I don't even think vinyl was around 60s, was it really in the mass production anyway?
I'm sure it had to be hand cut and stuff too. I mean, you weren't using computers to do laser cuts and stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Kids these days don't know how good they've got
3D printers.
And just whipping up a 3D printed part. I'm over here still trying to freaking angle cut it and grind it on, and it's just then I end up just buying it from somebody that has a CNC machine.
I mean, there's a better way.
Yeah. So, all right, we got the paint and body done, and while you were, while that was kind of off doing, they were doing their thing. You've been kind of putting together and I couldn't quite remember. I didn't go back and fully listen to the episode, but it was just based off of timing and what you posted. Then your classic mini DIY like throttle body came out and everything. I think that was after our episode, right?
Thereabouts, either before or after, right during. I honestly can't remember. I barely remember yesterday, but so the engine that's going into this car is still an A series. At the time, I was getting kind of like a pre-release version of my drive-by-wire fuel injected throttle body. It's always a mouthful to say, but basically, you can attach any modern ECU that can handle it, and your pedal is fully electronic. You can put on, like custom throttle curves and all this complex idle control really, really easily. And it's just bolts right on where the HIF 44 went and just send it. So that is what's going on there, combined with the new turbo kit from Bag Sport.
Looks so cool, and I'm a carb guy just because it's I always wanted that, and it's like fun to tinker. It works. It's fun to tinker. But when I saw this, I was like, damn, man, that would be like everything that you just mentioned, and probably endless options to like tinker with it and just set up. Imagine setting up the A series engine just perfectly with a turbo and just like works perfectly. I can't imagine what it's going to be like.
I can't imagine it either. Like, that's the part that I'm looking the most forward to is like, when your idle's not quite right with a carb, or your idle, you've got some mixture issue, whatever it is, if it's cable driven, if it's a carb, you're going out there and adjusting the idle, which none of these things are difficult. Like, don't get me wrong, it's an awesome setup. Like, it worked for 30, 40, 50 years.
Right.
But with the drive-by-wire setup, it's like you got your laptop connected to your ECU and you're like, shit, it's kind of like not running quite right. Let me just add a little bit of fuel here by like a percentile, and boom, it's running better. Or you're like, okay, it's struggling to idle at 800 RPM, maybe because of your cam, maybe because of boost, whatever it is. You change that setting in the ECU, and in a second, it's running at 1,000 RPM or whatever. So I'm tech guy, like that's my job in real life, separate from the mini stuff. So I always get it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to see what you do with it because I follow a lot of automotive YouTubers, and seems like most of them are always JDM, and they're always just beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, 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 tuning their thing, and it's like different RPMs. The boost is going to
Yeah.
come on differently, and just like super cool things that's like I can't comprehend because it's like I've either just driven like a daily driver that I didn't tinker with, or had like a piggyback tune just like
where
plug
you
in
just
and
make
go,
like on a Golf or something,
or
where
a
you just
car.
modify it on top of.
Yeah, actually, my second Mini, the R56, I put on a piggyback tune from
Really?
Burger Tuning, I think, and it put on like 20 or 30
Really?
horsepower. It was
Man,
pretty
that's
fast. Yeah, I mean, from stock, it was like a pretty big jump for just like a
when
little
I
plug-in
had
type
an
of thing.
R56 as well. That was I think it was R56, 2007 Cooper S, and at the time, like there wasn't
Yeah,
any ECU tune; they hadn't cracked it yet. So it was like, always jealous of the folks
right.
from the previous generation with the superchargers who had all these tuning options. I'm like, I just want that, But yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good car.
yeah. Sean, you actually had me looking the other day. I think you were talking about racing as we typically do off the podcast, and I was like, man, what would be a kind of a cheap car that I can just like strip and not really give a shit about? And I was like, I wonder if there's any R53s out there. And I found quite a few in my area for like 1,500 to 3,000 that were S's, manual, and probably shit boxes.
Yeah,
But like, ooh, there's like you
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of
I
aftermarket stuff
mean,
for those.
that's kind of what you want when you want to just tinker, like mess with something. You don't have to worry about like, oh no, I blew up the transmission. I guess it's just going to continue to be parked right there. Like, not a big
Yeah,
deal. But
yeah, yeah. I feel like those are kind of at the stage, unless it's like one of the GP models
those were
or one
nice.
of the limited edition ones that no one really cares about them right now. So even if you did blow it up, you could probably just pick up another
Yeah,
engine and just swap it in, or I don't know. That's still kind of fairly easy to work on those. I don't know. I
I'm
could
sure
just be
BMW makes a lot of those
thinking
parts still too.
positively.
The commonality between a lot of
Yeah.
those.
I mean, it's what I did with the R55. I blew the engine up and directly brought another crate from
Really?
Mini Direct for it. So it's still
Wow.
still easy enough to get bits.
How
Yeah.
much does an
Really?
crate engine cost?
Well, those
Do I
You don't have to
have to
share. I'm
say?
just
Do I have to
curious.
say? I think with the garage bed on top, it was all
I mean,
about
that seems pretty
£6,000 in.
on the money for an engine. I mean,
Yeah, but I kind of feel like for that amount of money, I probably could have got it rebuilt and then forged rather than going directly to Mini and just getting
yeah.
a bog standard engine. So
you should have just swapped it at that point because that engine is the worst freaking engine Mini ever made.
yeah, I don't know anyone who supports the M14 really.
I worked at a Mini dealership for quite a while, and the only cars that ever came in for service other than like oil changes were
Really?
those. Like those were always
Yeah.
just blown up. Like
Constantly.
dude, they were terrible. My R56 engine caught fire and it was turned off in the driveway, and it just
Damn.
freaking lit up in flames on. I think it was like either Thanksgiving or Christmas. And I was like, I didn't start cooking yet. And I look out, I was like, my car's on fire.
Oh, jeez, man.
Oh,
Gee.
man. Yeah, it was rough. Yikes. Yeah, I think I made a joke of like roasting chestnuts over an open fire or something like that.
You just got to laugh, like the alternative, not ideal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I almost had a fire
You
in the Classic Mini not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah, stupid me. Put a foot pump in the boot, turned a corner, headed up the motorway. I didn't realise that the foot pump was sat on top of the battery terminal. Welded itself to the rear bulkhead, didn't it?
What's a foot pump? Is that a
Like
British thing?
pump your tyres up. Foot pump, normal foot pump.
Do we have those here, Cole?
Must do.
That sounds like such an ancient thing.
I mean, I can think of the ones that are like TNT boxes.
Like like a bike pump.
Why the coyote on the box of it, yeah.
So it just like grounded itself, I guess, across the leads.
Yeah. I mean, I smelled burning, but I couldn't figure out as to where it was coming from. And then being strapped in the harness, you can't turn around, so I had no idea that it was trying to burn through the rear seat.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Outlaw.
Lesson learned.
Outlaw. Yikes. Yeah. Well, so this, correct me if I'm wrong though, you had a different maybe custom kind of manifold turbo setup. What's the advantage or differences that go into this bag sport one, which looks freaking awesome? What's the big differences? Did you need to do that to set up with your new throttle body
answer to
setup?
the last part of that question is no, but the kind of like, there's turbo kits all over the place now on for A series, which is awesome. This is great. More and more options. Jet Motors obviously sells one. The one I had was from Fusion Fabrications, and the guy who makes it, awesome at what he does. Like truly, that manifold that I had was excellent. He did full stainless, all of the things that you want it to be. And it was suited for the GT17, the Garrett Turbo GT17, which is excellent turbo. Got me over 200 horsepower. Very happy with that. But then it's an older, just going to drop that in there. But it's an older style turbo, so it's like a little bit less efficient when compared to modern turbos. It was on the Saab 9.3 in the like early 2000s. So I was like, well, this works, which means I'm going to just take it all apart. And I was like, I'm going to try a different turbo. And then that's where the bag sport manifold came in. I am not skilled enough to build a manifold like that. So I connected up with Ben. And it's not sponsored or anything. Like I paid full price for this. Like I wanted to try this out, and he has it tailored to a GBC 20 turbo, which is kind of like a motorsports turbo that you see on ATVs or side by sides, and just much more efficient. It's not water cooled. It's just excellent turbo, and so I'm going to see what kind of power gears I get with that, and see how the power band is a little bit different, but it's kind of like the core motivator.
That it blows my mind, and I've been kind of chirping at Sean to, he has a 998. It's like, you could turbo supercharge it, like, and like, while you find a 1275, and like you said, there's so many different options. Even like the Jet Motors ones is pretty much just like a bolted up and go, and there's not a whole lot of supporting mods because I think they're running low boost. But then you get to something like yours, which is like pulling 200 plus horsepower out of the A series is insane.
I feel very bad for my drop gears. Everything else is upgraded. Ford can handle the boost, can handle the heat and the power, all of that stuff. But those drop gears, man, I just refuse to go straight cut. I can't deal with that. It's too loud. Not yet.
Not
Mini
make
Spears has been
stronger
saying for like,
ones?
I don't know, the last 2 or 3 years, like, we're going to be, so they have a gear set that goes the 1 through 4 gear set that is their evolution helical gears, very strong, can handle the power. But the drop gears, what's that?
Must be nice.
Yeah. Oh, they're great. Gear ratios are so good. They must be nice. So, but yeah, no drop gears yet. I've been bugging them, watching, like refreshing. One day, I know.
Yeah, because MEDs, I think,
they're
are
awesome
just
too. They
the
have
straight
like,
cuts, right?
The roller bearing style, all sorts of different like upgrades. But yeah, straight cut, loud.
Yeah. So, I mean, tell me a little bit about one thing that I've never, ever researched, and it confuses me every single time I hear somebody talk about turbos, because they're always the Garrett M24 45 56, and I literally don't know what that means. Like people are probably laughing at me right now, like, oh, loser.
Sorry, Mike, I'm in the same boat. I'm such an NA guy at heart as well.
I don't like people like throw it around all the time.
No.
Do you really know what that means? It's like, yeah, because aren't they? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Like it's
all just down to limit part numbers.
What is it?
Like really, that's all it is. And
see, that's what I thought, and I was like, so everyone's memorized part numbers now.
Like I know a rough size turbo. So like each model number, the GBC series turbos are all GBC prefixed model numbers, and they have a 18, 20, 22. What it boils down to is the smaller the number after the first qualifier is like the size range. I don't know if it's millimeters or whatever it is. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
so the GBC 20 is like, let's just say 30 or 40 millimeter impeller entrance for your boosted air. And then the 18 might be 20
Mm-hmm.
or that's really all it is. And it's just different sizes. But
Yeah.
yeah. And
It's
then,
like
I mean,
inlet,
there is the
outlet
kind of
size type of
differences
thing.
between like ball bearing turbos and like, but that's like more than I know. Like, I just know what I'm putting on my car is what I want to put on my car. And like, that's it.
Right. Do you know, or is there like any? I'm sure there's somebody that has done this test by now. Is like, what's the most horsepower, torque numbers that you can run out
So
of an A
there is a
series before
guy
it
on
blows?
Instagram. I don't know, like, fully fact checked, verified highest power figures out of an A series, but I know there's a guy on Instagram who I've talked to a couple times. His name, I'm trying to remember on Instagram, it's like Nick's Projects or something like that. Really nice guy, very, very skilled in the arts of like welding and engine tuning and all of those things. And I think he's gotten over 330, if I remember correctly, which, I mean, holy shit.
Wow.
It like makes my palms
Yeah.
sweaty.
Yeah. See, that's it. And that, like, we won't get into like necessarily like what it
Too much.
might have cost him to do that, but like like it's probably too much, but it's like it's funny because like is it easier to, you know, bolt up the, because the manifold, like you said, there's so many different options, so I would assume it's a little bit of tuning
Yeah.
and picking the proper turbo size to get you to that versus trying to fab up a engine swap of like a Honda. Like I feel like, which one's easier? I don't know. Cost
Like if you
versus
compare them apples
ease.
to
I don't know.
apples, I actually think a Honda swap is easier and will provide you more power, more reliable power. And the
Yeah,
reason I went with the A series is just because it's
that's
like, kind of like core feels cool. Like, yeah, I got the A series turbocharged. I got that running this, reliably, as reliable as it can be. But the things that like you really have to think about when you're pushing those power limits is you really can't stick with a 5-port head, in my opinion. That's what I'm running on mine. But if you want to get up there, you've got to normalize the fuel and the air across all of it. So you got to do like a 7-port or an 8-port. So you got correct fuel mixture in every single cylinder. And then,
yeah.
then you have a lot more flexibility with boost and power.
Yeah, and kind of like you're doing is there's a lot of things that you have to upgrade. Excuse me, on the engine, the transmission, the clutch, which you I think just released, or at least did a collab with somebody, of upgraded clutch and stuff like that. There's a lot of
Absolutely not. And even the ones
components
that you
that weren't
modify
built for
really
that.
are, you're asking a lot out of this little Pulse 75 or 998 or whatever it is. It's putting it through its paces.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I say this, but I don't know if I actually believe myself when I say this, but like, around town and you're cruising, I feel like, you just be moderate, but like when you want that power, it's there. But I guess knowing me, I'd probably be, redlining it everywhere just to see.
It is addicting, but
It's
it
probably too
is
addicting, man.
also the cool thing about a turbo, in by comparison to supercharger, for example, like the turbo, when you don't push it, it won't go wild. Like, you're not going to develop boost unless you're putting load on the
Right,
engine. You're not going to put load on the engine unless you press the gas pedal, like, so,
right,
that's nice.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
with your ECU setup and everything
Yeah.
like that, you can you can put those parameters in there to kind of help protect. You could do cutoffs and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. So hopefully it will be
There's some pretty
more
cool stuff
reliable
too.
than some
Haltech
may think.
sells a rotary knob. Any can supported rotary knob would work, but they have one that has like, I think, 4 different steps on it, and you can map that to different ECU maps. One can be your toot around town 3 psi. You're not like going to demolish your engine. Switch it up to 4. That's your 15 psi aggressive boost, map, whatever you want it to be, and whatever, like the world is your oyster with an ECU.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Interesting. My mind is running crazy right now, but I don't want to waste too much time on this. But I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited to see more people kind of go down the same rabbit hole with your throttle body, which looks
Yeah,
beautiful.
part of,
Use Gold Tooth Cray
part of
for
the
a
DIY
little
crew.
discount on classicminidiy.com. DIY crew.
It's hard
I
work
was waiting
making
for you to drop
products.
more shit so I can start dropping my discount code. I know. That's why I'm. Every time you do, I'm like, damn, dude, that's super cool. Like, I don't even know. Like, what I'm like, what would I even make? I don't know. I'm just like, I like all the like. I can't make new
I
old
mean, get a
stock
3D
shit.
printer. You can. Nah.
Nah. I had a 3D printed part on my car for a little
Yeah,
bit, and
it's
it
all
was
the
like kind of cool at
materials, man.
first, but then it like broke. So I was like, that's kind of stupid. Yeah. Well, I want to talk about
Yes.
you recently went to
Mm-hmm.
CMU,
Oh
whatever
man.
the mods and
So
rockers,
I'm
wasn't it?
just
How was
gonna
that?
I'm just gonna go full promotional mode real quick. CMU is arguably the best event that is stateside. I have it's at the right time of year. It's always in spring or fall. It happens every year and a half, and it's usually towards the East Coast. Sorry, but it's always like in the Appalachian Mountains, or really like the Blue Ridge Mountains, Smokies, that kind of thing. And it is from Wednesday to Sunday, and it's long drives each day. And I'm not like, they're drives. You go to the mountain roads, you rip, you have an awesome time. People's minis break. It's like it's like life is amazing. Um, so this year, yeah, it was excellent. It was up in Wytheville, Virginia, um, and there are probably like 60 minis there, all said and done. And we just spent the week driving, really enjoying it. I drove my buddy's red pickup this time because my car wasn't ready.
Yeah, it's been on the list for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
Mike has always been chirping at me to come, and it hasn't worked out, and I was hoping that I could maybe make it this year, but mine's still on jack stands as well. But just that area is a bucket list for me. And Sean, I don't know if you know anything about the Smokies or the Appalachian Mountains, but like the tail, maybe you've
Mm-hmm.
heard of Tail of the Dragon, which is a
Yeah, I know. Tail of the Dragon. Yeah,
pretty famous road,
looks
Mm-hmm.
incredible.
which
Yeah.
which is probably pretty popular nowadays, right, Cole? It's like, but there's so
Yeah.
many others that are just as good or better that are in there, and it's just it looks beautiful. There's trees everywhere. It's there's so many amazing roads in the United
Yeah.
States mountains that
It's so
are
true.
just like slept on, and you
It's
can have an
wild. I
event
mean, like the
probably
drives
every
we went
weekend
on
at a
this
different
time,
spot
we didn't go to the tail of the
forever.
dragon this time because of the busyness factor, and it is kind of difficult when you bring 60 minis there. We have 2 different groups, sometimes 3 depending on the road we're on. It goes touring, which is just like, I just want to enjoy the mountains. There's lots of people that come out there that don't want to beat the crap out of their mini, but they want to drive it, and so they come out. They're in the touring group. Then there's the spirited group that is the people want to drive fast, and then depending on the road, sometimes there will be a super spirited group, and that, I'll let you fill in the blanks on what we do with that in that group. But yeah, we hit the snake, the back of the dragon, which is another part of the kind of like dragon stuff, and then tons of just other small unknown roads.
Yeah, it just looks like a fun event, and yeah, it's something that I've definitely wanted to check out. I mean, I just want to check out a mini event at this point. Like, I haven't been able to make any of them, but it really opened my eyes last year. I
Mm-hmm.
obviously love going to shows and cruises and all sorts of things, but I went to that rally last year, and obviously there weren't any other minis, but just the community of
Mm-hmm.
people and the drives and the event, like just the camaraderie, and being around all many people would be insane. And some of these places that
Yep.
they're held
Yep.
are second to none. So it looks amazing. How was the driving the pup out there? Is that the
No,
first time
so
you really driven
that
a
red
pup
mini
kind of
pickup,
long term?
that is it, it's 3 or 4 years ago. I built a Super 998 engine, which is 1275 head on a
Oh,
998
that's right.
block, pocketed so that the valves can open up in it and all that stuff. That's the engine that I built. So it's actually Justin's car, who I mentioned earlier in this episode, but um, he obviously knows how to build an engine. Like he
Yeah.
built my Mini the first time with me. So, but he knew I had the channel. He's like, "Hey, do you want to build this?" And I was like, "Yeah, heck yeah!" And so built that engine. Been going strong. Um, the pickup is like an experience. If you're tall, it is a much more difficult experience. There's only so much room in that cab to go backwards, but the Super 998 kept up, as well as a 998 can in the mountains. Like it's the best way to describe the Super 998 is like a this kind of it makes it sound bad, but it's not bad. It's like an unhealthy 1275, you know. But like but you can just put your foot down and just go, like, but then it really makes you focus on how do you shift, when do you shift, when do you brake. It really connects you to the car in a different way that you don't get with a 1275, at least not in the same way. So
You
yeah.
got to really kind of be on top of
Yes,
it with
very much
your
so.
heel toe, shifting, staying in power type of
Yeah.
thing. Fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't be like that if you had
Just
turbo,
do
Sean.
it. You won't
Oh,
regret
come
it.
on, don't do me dirty like that, man.
Oh yeah, that was so
Oh,
like
Cole,
I
did you
just, I
sell
love
your
my
old
and I
neck.
setup
posted it
already?
up. Unfortunately, I
Sorry?
mean, not unfortunately. It was fortunate for me, but
I've
yeah,
yeah. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure you already sold that. All right, we'll find you one, Sean.
Yeah,
Somebody's
cheers,
I
gonna
guys.
mean,
someone's gonna DM me and say, "Hey, I got a turbo set up for Sean."
Oh, oh, no. I don't know if I want to do it, though. I want to
you
keep the
should.
carbs. I really love the idea of doing a Super 998 as well,
Well, can't
with
you
the
do it?
1275 head and pocket the block, but
Why can't you keep the carb?
I don't know if I want to run turbo, though, Mike. I just
Well,
don't think
fine.
it's for me.
Supercharger. Cole's had experience with
Yeah,
supercharger.
you're talking to the wrong crew.
I'm not going to win
Although, I
here, man.
mean, I have come around to a concept that my buddy says it's hashtag keep it stock, because every time I complain about something like, oh, my Haltech ECU won't update, or like, oh, and he's like, huh, this wouldn't have happened if you just kept it stock. So there's a good, like, there's
Yeah.
a case to be made
Oh
for
man.
the OG stuff. Like, it's not bad, but you should turbo it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I said though, it like I said, there's so many different setups, and like I don't know all of them, but I'm just referring to the jet motors one because I've seen a few things lately about it. But it seems like a pretty simple bolt-on, bolt-off type of affair. So if you didn't like it, then take it off and fix it,
I,
or put it back to
I
stock.
there's for my opinion, so the
I
kit
could be wrong,
itself
though. I don't
is
know.
a nice kit. It comes with a really nice manifold setup. Everything fits. It's made to work with the Mini. Um, the fuel injection setup is not my favorite in terms of like the ECU attached to it and everything, but the hardware is good. So you could always swap that out. But the I don't. I struggle to imagine any turbo kit that is actually bolt on because it, like you can put it on and you can bolt it on
Yeah,
and it
that's
will
true.
run, but golly, like even low boost, you're asking a lot out of like die cast pistons. Like that's a lot of heat, and I don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
It's got to go somewhere, isn't it?
All right, well, we'll think about this, Sean. We'll
Well,
think about it.
the thing is, I mean, I've got to change the wiring loom anyway, and I've actually been starting to watch Cole's YouTube series on doing that custom and wiring loom as well.
yeah.
So it might still be on the cards. It depends.
If you're watching Classic Mini DIY, you're going down rabbit holes.
Well, if you need any help with it,
Huge
I'm
rabbit
happy to help
holes.
you out. Because like I love the Haltech setup, and they are a sponsor of this
I
build.
appreciate it.
But there are excellent ECUs out there. You don't have to get Haltech. I mean, there's so many options now, and doing that custom wiring setup, like, oh god, I love wiring. I'm like in the minority, but I really love doing the wiring on this car. Yeah,
You're a nutter. I'm dreading touching it.
I hate starting wiring, but once you're like in it, it is kind of satisfying, like figuring it out, reading the wiring diagrams and things like that. It's kind of fun, and it looks super clean when you get it done nice, which I have not accomplished, but I've seen people accomplish that. So, something new, Cole, that I believe happened after our last recording is you got a new house with a new garage. So how's the new garage coming?
Into the new house when we did our last chat, but the garage is definitely not as finished out as the previous house was yet. It was a totally unfinished garage inside when we moved in, and there was a ton of like old crappy wiring, really weird choices like fire hazards and all sorts of crap. So when we moved in, I just gutted it, like pulled everything off the walls, pulled everything out of the walls, and then ran new wiring that was up to code out to sub panel, wired up the whole house, the whole garage, and set it up for a welder and all that stuff, insulated, put walls up. Still haven't done the roof, like insulating the ceiling or doing anything like that. So there's still a lot left to do, but it's definitely a really great workspace now.
Yeah, it looks much bigger.
Oh yeah,
and
it's definitely wider and deeper.
You could fit multiple minis in there.
Lower, which has been a challenge, but there's trade-offs, and it's a good trade-off. I'd rather have more floor space horizontally.
Yeah. True. Well, Cole, any other projects, anything coming up in the pipeline that you would like to share that I haven't seen yet?
So aside from obviously the resto mod build that we're working on now, in the next, I don't know, probably 6 months to a year, maybe a little bit longer, I will probably be supercharging the truck, the Tacoma, and then. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then I think we're going to start on a teardrop build, like teardrop trailer build.
Ooh, cool.
That's cool.
That's definitely something I've wanted to do. Like I mentioned, I got an extra bug the other week because I went to the mountains, kind of camping, not cabining, and I've always liked that, and I always imagined putting like a roof rack on the Mini and doing it. But I was like, you could get a cool truck with a little trailer in the back, a little Airstream type of thing. That looks fun.
It is, yeah.
Also, your truck is super cool, isn't it? Is it that dark green color? Yeah, that's my
Yep,
favorite
yep,
color, man. Yeah. Green's a good color,
yep.
man.
Green on
Little
both our
BR. This
hats.
is kind of,
Green
it's
water
not quite
bottle.
willow. It's more of
Green
BRG with
water
Old English
bottle.
white.
I have a problem. Green
Yeah.
legacy.
There we go.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
let's
cool.
go. Green Lego. Here's my. I don't know. Have I ever shown this on the?
We all gonna like
It's my.
That's super cool.
This is my
I know one.
plushie of my car.
that is cool. Where did you get that?
It's this lady in Japan that hand sews them, and she did an order for a bunch of us, and it was just hysterical looking at all of our car, like even like the details of my front fenders
I
not
love it.
being green, and the little X's on the headlight. It's just really cool. Yeah, so
Man, you're gonna have to send us a link for that. I've got
I'll
to get
send you
one.
the link. Yeah, it's super fun. Cole, I don't remember. Did I have the
It
Patty
feels
probe yet when we
familiar.
first did your
I don't know
episode?
if it, maybe it was like an early version of it. But like I said, I have a terrible memory, so this is brand new to me.
Maybe. Yeah, see, I don't remember. Yes, I feel like I did, but I probably like revamped it. So I tried. I've been thinking about it for a while now to update the questions or add to it for specific
That's true.
scenarios like this. If you come back on, I can't re-ask you the Patty Probe questions. So I came up with a few new ones. So for those that are listening, the Patty Probe new
Can't wait.
questions right here, right now with Cole from Classic Mini
Oh gosh.
DIY. The first one. They're controversial. I'm just kidding. What is your least
The elf,
favorite
the
mini
like word,
variant?
yeah, that
Don't say it.
like I
I
just don't
knew
get
you were
it.
gonna say it right when
I
you
don't
said
get it at all. Like the trunk, like
man.
why is that there? It just looks so creepy. Oh my god. I mean,
I
everyone's
low
entitled to their
key think
opinion,
that's
but
my
not
favorite.
everybody's opinion's correct. So
Yeah, come on, haven't you seen the
there was
very
actually
few that are in like
two at the
race trim?
CMU
They look
event.
kind of cool.
No. Oh,
Eh.
people are very kind.
And you didn't talk to him because you were disgusted. All right, second new Patty Probe question. What do you think the biggest
I'm
mini
gonna have to think about
myth
this for a minute.
is?
Mini myth. I think so. It's kind of like a two-parter.
Or
It's
misconception or something like that.
the concept specifically that minis are inherently unreliable and they're like just crappy parts. I think that that's like totally incorrect because when these cars were driven daily by people, like the reason they're unreliable is because they're 60 years old, they're 50 years old, like stuff in there degrades over time, and so like it's not that they're unreliable, it's just that they're tired, they got old parts and stuff. So yeah, I'd say that would probably be up there. A well-maintained mini runs very
Yeah,
well.
I agree. I I agree. I agree. Um, I'm debating if I make this one or two questions, but maybe let me ask it this way: what's either the weirdest or like your
Least
least
favorite?
favorite mini modification that you see
I
people
am
do?
not a huge fan of like really
Yeah.
modern looking dashes, like big fiberglass dashes. I appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into it, but I just it doesn't like even the David Brown
Mm-hmm.
minis. I think their dashes are even a little modern for my taste. Like it just doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's a
Finally,
little
someone
too
said
much.
it.
Yeah, I can agree with that one for sure.
I'm gonna keep asking
Let's
on my
see
like this. This is fun.
here. I'll save some of these for somebody else, but This might be obvious, but maybe not. Is there a dream mini project that you would like to do
Yeah.
outside of what you're already doing?
I would say that I'd really, really like to do an electric conversion on a pickup or a Traveler. So one of the long wheelbase versions, something like that. I'd really like doing electric conversion, but I also don't feel like batteries are at a point where I would want to do it just yet. Like, yeah, I want more range.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The last one, like I said, it kind of goes with the other one, the biggest mini myth or misconception. But is there like a mini hot take that maybe a controversial opinion about the mini or mini communities that
Let me see.
might get some people some fired up and
Controversial
get the
hot
comment section
take.
going?
Top mini community. Ooh, this is a difficult one. I've got thoughts of different things, but I think that there is a lot of unreliable information out there now, and the mini community has become a little bit commercialized in a way that is detrimental to the consumer. So like there are things being sold now that are marketed as being really easy or being just something that goes right on the car, but they're not, and then people parrot that information like it's fact, and so that concerns me a little bit because I get a lot of questions like someone told me I should do such and such, and I'm just like, oh my god, that'll destroy your engine, whatever it is. But yeah.
Yeah. Right. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like to frequent the mini comment section, Facebook comment sections, and just like, someone asks a basic question like, what oil should I use? And I go, like whatever it is. And you go in and it's like, what are you, like, why are these, what is your answer? Like what you've been doing? How is your mini like
Dude,
blown up by now?
the
Because you're
most
using
toxic
coolant as an
response
engine
is
oil.
I
Like, what are
have
you
been
talking about?
doing
Like,
this for my whole life with the Mini, so therefore it is correct. It is like categorically false. Like I've been
yeah.
eating potato chips covered in
Yeah.
globs of cheese for
Yeah.
years. What do you mean my heart's fine? Like
yeah. Yeah, I know. I like sometimes
yes.
I feel like
Yeah.
I should answer and then I'm like, nah, like this is just gonna be a whirlwind battle in here. I'm just gonna
That's
let them
so
figure it out. I'm
much
just gonna
better
start
advice.
commenting, get a Haynes manual or something. Then somebody
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. Well, Cole, I appreciate you being
Love
on
to.
again, and we'll have to have you back on again once it's finished up and ripping. After maybe a dyno session or something, or
Oh God.
maybe
Yeah.
we'll like
That's a
try to
lot of
live
faith we're
stream
putting
you
on
on your
5G
first
over
drive
here
or
in
something.
Charlotte. But yeah,
That would be cool.
I'll do it from the garage next time so that we can do a little
Oh,
live thing on the car
yeah,
or something. I love that idea.
yeah. I know. I've been trying to figure out my Wi-Fi situation in the
Mm-hmm.
garage. Like if I can somehow set it up because I'm in an apartment, so it's like not
Yeah, that
near
would be really cool.
my setup. Because I would like to do podcast
In the
in the
car
car.
life
It'd be kind of
sounds
fun,
fun.
or at least in the garage. I don't know. So, anyways, yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you being on. Sean, you got anything for the peeps?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for all our followers and listeners for all the feedback, whether it be on the artwork or
Yes,
with all these episodes
wonderful.
with Mike,
Thanks for having me.
myself, or any of our guests. And Cole, it was awesome to meet you. Thanks for coming on again. Appreciate it.
All
Other than that,
right.
Mike, I'm all good.
Everyone go follow Cole, Classic Mini DIY, Sean at Scrapyard, me at Goldtooth Cray,
See
and
you
don't
guys.
forget about Mini Life. .37. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.